Alright, in today's video I want to talk a little bit about attribution inside of Google Ads and more specifically the model comparison. So quick reminder, attribution is how Google Ads here specifically assigns a value to a certain campaign and a transaction to a certain campaign, right? So the default thing is last click. Right, so they're going to look at the last click before the sale happened, right, and assign 100% of the credit to that campaign. So here I'm in tools and settings, attribution here, and I'm here in a model comparison where you can actually compare the different models. So we have here, I'm comparing last click to data driven. So this is an account that has quite a few conversions. Here in the last 30 days, we had around, so adding that up, probably close to 100, 200, 300, 400, let's say, give or take, 400 conversions. And so this compares like the number of conversions in the last click example versus the other model. Here I'm actually exploring whether or not to switch this campaign or this account to data driven. So you can see for most of the accounts it changes quite a bit, right, compared to data driven. So here this change. So this actually is our branded campaign. You can't see the names here, but this is our brand campaign. So this would actually decline the hardest. This would decline by 25%. Here we have a smart shopping campaign, and here we also have a smart shopping campaign. Those would actually increase the most, right? So here this one would increase by almost 28%, and here the top one would increase by 8%. Right, so that's because Google is kind of looking at the whole, at all of the campaigns that contribute. So not just that last campaign, but maybe before they clicked on a different ad. Now, what is interesting here? Here we can look at the cost per conversion, but what's interesting to me is here the conversion value, right? How that changes. And we should see a similar trend to the actually the data-driven ones. Here we see an increase of this ad type by 10%, and also this one actually by 40%, right? So that's kind of in line with what we see here. So a lot less credit goes to the brand campaign and to a very generic search campaign. This is a campaign, these are actually two campaigns that are kind of top of funnel. I always thought of them, and that's clearly reflected here. Now, how do you go about picking a attribution model, right? That's right for you. So many people or use last click, and they always ask like, okay, should I switch over? Well, it kind of depends, and this is, to me, this is the first step. Kind of looking through the different models. You can use time decay. So first click means all of the credit goes to the first click. Linear just sees how many clicks were there and just spreads it evenly. Time decay kind of looks at all of the clicks that were involved and will kind of as more time goes by, like the earlier clicks get less and less credit. And then here the position based, this is kind of like you can define like rules to which, so actually position based here, they assign a lot to the credit at the front, a lot to the back, and then spread it around a little bit in the middle. So which ones I like to use are, I like the time decay one because they can kind of see like which it gives more credit to the more recent ones, which is, I find, a more intuitive one. But then you have the data-driven one, and the data-driven one is kind of the model that Google wants you to adopt. And actually, I have found in accounts, it does help the account. So sometimes it's more random. So Google assigns the credit as it see fit. So, for example, two people clicking on the exact same campaigns, but actually the credit might be assigned differently. And that's pretty confusing, because with data driven, you're kind of giving up on any of the visibility. But I do use it, and for this account we are gonna switch to it. As it will help us as we scale this account further to get a little bit more insights, or to get a little bit more credit for those more top of funnel campaigns that we're currently missing out. Now, attribution, let me tell you again, before showing you one last thing. Attribution is always a very difficult topic, right? There's no straight answer. There's no one way to look at things, or one correct way. Each of these models offers like a different lens to look at. But here, so how we look at that as a business is kind of use attribution inside the channel. So for Google Ads, we're using the best attribution model that we think is put. We use the data driven, and we use that to make optimizations inside of the ad platform, right? Like where should we assign more budget, where less. Now, on the business side, if you're doing multiple things, let's say you're running Facebook ads, you're doing Google ads, it's a lot harder to kind of be, a conversion purist, right? Like where does this person, where did they came from? What were the steps that they followed? It could be that they came in through Facebook and they were retargeted on the display network, and they came back through a shopping ad. And for each of your customers, that will be a little bit different. So it becomes like a maze to try and figure this out and keep on top of it. So what we then do is sometimes look at more money in, money out type of thing, where we do a blended ROAS on the account level. So we look at how many transactions did we do, how much money did we spend on advertising, and how much did we generate overall channels, over organic, over Facebook paid, over Google Ads. So it's a lot more it offers a lot less. It blankets a lot of the complexity, but that also makes it easier to deal with the different channels. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you go to the model comparison report and do your own check, and let me know in the comments what you found, if you have other questions or something. Happy to help out.